name is Vedangi, and today I'll be giving my data analytics lab oral examination, which is guided by Dr. Professor Harshali Mane. So let's continue with our presentation. So this is a quick outline of what we'll be coming across the presentation. First will be the execution of data wrangling. The second will be the concept of covariation versus correlation. Next will be the execution of NumPy library and the code. And the last will be the concept of data visualization. So here is the question one, which where we'll be performing data wrangling using operations such as mean removal, scaling, normalization, and binarization on an array which here is 6, minus 1.5, 3, 0, 3, and minus 1.3 respectively. So let's go to our code. So this will be our code. So what is basically data wrangling? So data wrangling is an iterative process that involves credible and meaningful analysis of the task. So it also includes a range of tasks involved in preparing raw data for a clearly defined purpose. So here we'll be in the code here we'll be doing the first is mean removal. So first we have imported NumPy as NP and imported pre-processing from scikit-learn library. So now as we have imported these libraries, let's create some data. So first we are inputting the data in the form of array, which is 6 minus 1, 3, 0, 3 minus 1.3 respectively. So the first process we will be doing is data standardization. So for data standardizing, we are doing pre-processing scaling, which is nothing but the doing standardize by standardizing a data set along any axis. But here by default we have to set axis as 0. So here we have data standardized dot mean as axis 0 and the dot std also as 0. So we get the output as mean equals to 0, 0, 0 and standard deviation as 1, 1, 1, and the array in the form of matrix will be 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1 respectively. So next is the scaling. So here we are doing the data scaler for pre-processing min and max scaler. So it is nothing but like minimizing and maximizing the data. So in the second we are doing dot fit transform, which is nothing but to fit data and then we'll be transforming the data. So here will be our output min max scale data equals to 101 and 010 in the matrix form. So now is the normalization process. So in normalization, basically we scale the input vectors into unit norm, that is nothing but length of the data. So here we are putting it as L1 input data, and then we are normalizing it. So the output will be as follows. Then moving next to binarization. In binarization, we will be giving a threshold value, and when the value of the data is greater than 1.4, it will display the output as 1, and if the data input is less than 1.4, that is the threshold value, it will give us an output as 0. So if we print the binarized data, we get an output as 101010. Now moving back to the presentation, next is what is the difference between covariance and correlation. So a major difference between covariance and correlation is that we have to measure variations between variables, like looking at whether there is an increase in one variable due to an increase, decrease, or no change in other variable. Whereas in case of correlation, we have to measure direction and strength of the variables, like how strongly the two of the variables are related to each other. In the next, we'll be going for covariance, which deals with linear relationship of only two variables in the data set. And the correlation actually involves two or multiple variables or data sets, and they are linear relationship. The third is that coefficients of covariance are not standardized. That means the it displays an indefinite range from minus infinity to infinity, which makes the interpretation of covariance a bit tricky. But in case of the correlation, the it is standardized and it displays an absolute value with a definite range from -1 to +1. So the next is that covariance is in units, so which is formed by multiplying unit of one variable with the another, whereas the in case of correlation, it is a unit-free relationship between variables. So moving next to the next slide, explain the question is explain NumPy library and its basic operations. So NumPy library here, NumPy means nothing. NumPy states as numerical Python, which is an open source module of Python, which gives us fast mathematical computation on arrays and matrices. It also forms a basis of mainly widely used Python libraries related to data science. And working on NumPy actually is that operation is much faster and less, and it uses less time complexity. So next are the operations, basic operations in NumPy. So the first operation is arrange method, which is an inbuilt NumPy function that returns the array object containing evenly spaced values within a definite interval. Next is the zeros method, which is where it creates a new array with specified type, size, etc., and gives us all the elements to initialized with 0. In ones method, it is also same as the zeros method, only the difference is that it gives us the output in the form of ones. In lean space method, it actually returns us the evenly spaced syntax such as start, stop, num, endpoint, etc. I method is actually a method in which it gives us the output in the form of a matrix, where the only the diagonal elements are marked as 1 and the others are 0. In the random method, it actually generates random value based on the array, which is nothing but giving shape and propagating it with random samples from a uniform distribution. So if we look at the code here, we have imported NumPy as NP, and we have given an array of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28 respectively. Then we have printed A, so we get the matrix A, and then we are printing the size of array and then its shape. So we'll get an output as size of the array, which is total consisting of 6 elements, so here it is 6. And then the row and the column, which is nothing but the shape, will be nothing but 2 is to 3 matrix. So next we'll be doing operations on the above array. So first we'll be doing importing numpy as np, and then we'll be doing operation np.0 on 3 is to 3 matrix, where the entire matrix will be initialized to 0. In the second case, we are operating it with ones, where the value will be returning of 2 is to 2 matrix will be 1. And in np.I, we'll be doing operation on 3 is to 3 matrix, where the diagonal elements will be 1 and the others will be 0. In the third case, we'll be importing numpy as np, where the array will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 respectively. First, we'll be printing A in the form of matrix. So we are getting output as matrix. Then we are printing A square bracket. Here, the square bracket indicates that we are able to access the elements inside of the array. And the 2 is 2 symbols indicate that first is the row and the second is the column of all the elements. So we'll be printing A square bracket is 2 comma is 2. So we'll be displaying all the columns and rows. So here we are getting an entire matrix again. In the second case, we are only calling the columns, not the rows. So we'll be getting an output of only the first column, which is 258. In the second case, we are calling the zeroth row, which is 123. So we'll get an output as 123 respectively. So moving back to the presentation, yeah. So question 4 is data visualization in Python. So in data visualization Python, we'll be learning about Seaborn library, and we'll be coming across how to create basic plots using Seaborn library, which is scatter plot and histogram and bar plot. So what is Seaborn? So Seaborn is basically a data visualization library which is used in order to create graphics and what we can say is like drawing attractive and informative statistical graphics, and it is a powerful Python library for creating data visualizations also. It was mainly developed in order to create the most common types of plots. So here we'll be coming across various types of plots. It also provides a high level interface for statistical graphics also. So what are the advantages of Seaborn? So Seaborn was basically designed in order to make visualizations easy. So it was built to handle a lot of complexity behind the scenes. So it works extremely well with Pandas data structure. Pandas is a Python library which is widely used for data analytics. Then it was built on Matplotlib, which is also another Python visualization library. So Seaborn allows you to take advantage of this by avoiding the flexibility that Matplotlib flexibility can introduce. Moving next is the scatter plot. So in scatter plot, it is used for several schematic grouping, which can help us to understand well in graphs. So all the parameter control visual schematic which are used to identify the different subsets are nothing through scatter plot. So they can plot 2D graphics and can be enhanced by mapping up to three-dimensional variables while using size and style parameters. So moving on to the histogram. So histogram is also visualization tool that represents the distribution of set of continuous data, and here the data is divided into set of intervals or bins, we can call it bins also, and the count of data points that full into each bin corresponding to the height of the bar, which can be above the bin or below the bin. Here the KD is nothing but the kernel density estimation, which is used to smooth the histogram. Moving to the bar plot is basically used to aggregate the categorical data according to some methods like we will be mentioning. We can't mention it right now. So it can be understood that the visualization of this group by the action it performs, like huge bar graphs. So the bar plot function actually calculates the summary statistics for each category, which is also used to calculate the mean. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.